and good morning. In Britain today there are estimated to be 10,000 people who have had an operation to change their sexual identity. What drives them to take such drastic steps to rid themselves of the sex with which they were born? Vanessa, you want to have an operation to change your sex. You're waiting for it, aren't you, at the moment? Why?
Because I don't feel happy with the way I was before.
What were you before?
Well, don't really want to say my man's name really, because it's paranoia.
But you were a man?
Yeah, well, boy.
You were born as a...
But I think people should look a bit further. I mean, physically I was a boy, but it goes much further. What's between your legs?
And what you're waiting now for the operation?
Operation, yeah, hopefully next year. I think.
How long does it take? How old are you?
I'm 18 now. I've been on hormones since I was 16.
Why do you want to do that?
Well, because I don't feel happy with what I had before. I mean, it's like an alien.
Can you explain it?
Well, this thing that I've got there is supposed to give me sexual pleasure, and it's like so alien to me. I don't like it, you know. I'm at the stage now where I won't even like go to the toilet or have a bath or something, which for anybody else they can go and do, but for me, I find it really upsetting. It's, you know, I think it's really difficult for people to understand unless they know somebody that's going through it.
Help us to understand.
Well, I don't know, really. It's difficult. You know, it's very suicidal. I mean,
Suicidal?
Yeah. I mean, it is before.
Well, you feel suicidal?
Not so much now.
But
what I
used
used to, yeah. Because I wanted it. It doesn't happen overnight either. It does take a long time.
When did you first realise?
I must have been about 15.
And what did you think?
Well, I was entering the gay scene, entering like the London clubs and stuff, and I'd go to clubs like men-only nights and stuff, and I'd see these like beautiful-looking ladies about, and I used to think, well, what are they doing here and that? And I got friendly with a couple, made friends with them and that, and then I discovered that they were transsexuals. And because I was so confused, I was going to see lots of different psychiatrists. I went and saw psychiatrists where I lived in locally, and they just turned around and said, well, look, you're under 18, what do you want us to do about it, you know? And then they started going about God and stuff, you know, God wouldn't want you to do this and that. And I was like, well, if there's God, I wouldn't be in this predicament in the first place.
What do you feel, Mum?
I feel very bitter, really, at the reaction from the general public.
So how do you feel about what Vanessa wants to do?
Well, I'm totally supportive for her because I've...
Were you always?
I was. No. Well, when she was going through the gay scene, she was very rebellious.
You call her she?
I do now, yes. But before, she had cropped hair. She used to give me so much hassle, was so abusive. She'd hit me. She was so at a loss with herself, didn't know what she was. The children from school used to turn around and say, oh, that's gay, and used to give us hassle in the street. And they just didn't know. She was so upset. She wasn't sure what she was.
When were you aware of your son's desire to become a woman?
Well, when she started going to nightclubs.
What did you say? What did you feel then?
We started watching videos and she started explaining it.
What did you feel?
Well, I felt, at first, I didn't understand. But then I felt that if she didn't go ahead with what she was doing...
I was 6 feet under, basically. I just couldn't cope.
She did attempt suicide once. And I had to explain to her dad that if she doesn't do this, we're going to lose her. And all I wanted is for her to be happy, and that's all any parent should want their child to be, if they're gay, lesbian or transsexual.
She. You keep saying she.
Because she is she.
Right. So you look at this person here, and this is Vanessa, your daughter.
Yeah.
Where's your son?
Dead. I killed him.
Dead. That's gone 3 years ago.
Have you got pictures of your son?
Not now. No, I destroyed them because...
Why?
Because I've got pictures when she was little.
When he was little?
Yes.
What? No, I'm asking.
I've got pictures when she was little, but everyone used to say, what a pretty child. And I've got pictures of her. She used to, she was 13 and she loved Cabbage Patch dolls. And she used to do all knitting, embroidery.
But he was a he then, though, wasn't he?
Yes, but it
physically, it goes much deeper than that.
She was acting as a girl all the time. And when she was going through the gay scene and so rebellious, I turned around and said to her, what are you, a boy or a girl? Make your mind up. And I didn't realise how close to the truth it was.
And now she's made her mind up. You're happy for her to have her own mind?
Well, yes, you've got to give that to your child. I mean, you brought them into the world. You owe them something. You can't, shake them off. Oh, they don't conform to how I want them to be, a boy or a girl. It's not as simple as that.
Is it difficult when you first find out what your inclinations are? Do you tend to kind of suppress your
You try very hard to
instincts.
suppress it. There's this turmoil going on in your head all the time. You have, I don't like football, I don't like cricket, I'm not one of these. Yes, it is very difficult indeed.
What lengths do you go through to suppress your...
Given the money, you'll go through every length there is.
When did you have the operation?
About 3 years ago.
How old are you?
67.
Why did you wait so long?
It wasn't a matter of waiting, it was a matter, first, that the funds weren't available because I had to pay for it, and secondly, the techniques were simply not developed. Transsexuality was not a subject that people talked about. It was just not known.
Did you go to great lengths to suppress your kind of drive towards changing from a man into a woman?
Well, yeah, I guess I knew something fairly early on, but I wasn't sure what I knew, if you understand me.
Yeah.
You could feel it inside.
You knew there's something wrong?
I knew that I was different, but I wasn't like the other guys, if you know what I mean. But you get so much peer pressure when you're younger.
What was it that you
You've
knew
got
was
to be like the other
different
guys.
from the other guys? What made you start to feel
I
different?
just acted differently. I was attracted to different things. I didn't really want to play the games they wanted to play or do the things they wanted to do. But then I took so much stick that I decided, well, I will be like them. I'll make myself be like them.
How did
So
you make yourself like them?
by becoming tougher or more aggressive, if you like, I joined the army and I volunteered for all the things that were a little bit iffy.
We've got a picture of you, I think, in the army.
You
We have got a
probably
picture
have,
of you
yeah.
in the army.
And then I joined the police force and...
Let me stop you. Look at that picture.
Where?
Where we saw it then. We'll see it again in a minute. There we are.
That's me.
Is that you? Do you
Hunky,
see
wouldn't I?
You what?
But I didn't like it. I'd like him now.
Hey, really?
Yeah.
So you fancy yourself as a man?
Pretty good looking guy as it goes. You know, doesn't show.
But that's fascinating. That
Well-
had never occurred to me. Because do you see that person there? And do you like uniforms as well?
I wear one now.
What, an army uniform?
No, my work is a uniform, but I can't say what I do.
Oh, you're into uniforms as well. Listen, so go on. So you joined the army. You did all these
Yeah,
things.
I did all those things.
There's
I
so
was
much to
matchmaker.
talk about here, isn't there?
Well, yeah, because it goes on for quite a bit. You know, it's just sort of leap about, and generally I became more macho than macho. So in the end, I became not very nice to know. I didn't like me. I didn't like the things I did. I just became very aggressive. And I think if I hadn't, in the end, said enough's enough, either I would have gone mad, I would have hurt someone, or I'd have killed myself. I was getting really bad.
How old were you when you had the operation?
I had it 4 years ago. I'm 43 now.
You don't forgive me if I'm asking
Yeah.
questions just out of ignorance, but you're a fully functioning woman now.
Absolutely. Ask the fellas. You know.
What's happening, Russell? Are you born like this? Are you born with this in you, or what?
Well, there are lots of theories about why people are like this. I think there is a inborn component. I think that when the brain is being laid down, or the hardware of the brain is being made in the embryo of developing fetus, I think that there are hormonal influences that can steer it in the direction of being masculine or feminine. But I think the important part is when you're a child, when you're growing up, when you're being socialized and identifying yourself as a little boy or a little girl. I think the primary transsexuals, the boys who are effeminate or feminine when they're growing up, really think of themselves really as girls from an early age. They are very close to their mother, often over-involved with their mothers, and it sort of goes on from there. I think there are another group, of course, the older, what I call transvestite transsexuals. They're the ones often who marry and have children and really fight their feminine selves until later on in life, and then it seems as though there's a female takeover and they become women later in life.
You're saying environmental influences can play quite a considerable part then here.
They certainly do. I think the implications of that...
Well, then what people tend to say, I mean, I think Vanessa used the word alien. They tend to say, I'm in the wrong body, or I've got the wrong body. And you're saying, well, not necessarily. There might be other influences. You talked about relationship with mother, environment.
Yes, I think they're both. There's a sequential development. I think the implications are that if you're born with something like this, you're not responsible. Whereas if you learn it as a child or an adult, you are somehow responsible and you should be able to be cured.
Hang on, man. What do you think? Are you born with it, or do you learn it?
I think you're born with it. I had my operation a year ago, well, 14 months ago. Russell Reed was my psychiatrist. You are born with it. You don't catch it from drinking from somebody's cup who is a transsexual. We are people. We're human beings.
No, I don't agree with that. Primary transsexualism might be 1% constitutional, but it's 99% environmental. There's no scientific fact yet proved that gives the cause of transex. If there was, it would be all over every medical journal there was. We still haven't established the cause of transsexualism. That is the point. And when you're born, you're actually born with no sexual brain at all. And it is the environment between the ages of the time you're born till the time you're 3, when you don't know male from female, you're then picking up influences which influence you later on. Then when you're 3, then you're told you're a boy, and all the factors you've built up to the age of 3, you say, that's not me at all. I want to be a girl, because all the factors are on my side. And that's why at the age of 3 you think, I want to be a girl.
I feel that I was born with it. I
Well,
don't
yes,
agree
you
with
would
your
do.
theories, but I feel that I was born with it.
I know,
was
but
born
you-
with the wrong
You
body.
only know this from the age of 3, though.
Georgie,
don't
let
you?
her come back.
But when I had my operation, the packing was taken out, and I actually had my first bath, I could relate to my own body, my own
Oh,
sexuality.
yes, absolutely. I don't deny
that I
that.
was born with it.
Hold on, okay.
I think that what this lady here is saying is just perpetuating the myth of what the psychiatrists keep on saying. And it becomes a game between transsexuals and the psychiatrists. Transsexuals tell psychiatrists what they think that the psychiatrists want to hear.
Are you transsexual?
Yes, I am,
Yeah.
post-op. And as a result, the psychiatrists think that this is what a transsexual is, and it's all perpetuated.
But I've been
I
thinking
believe
transsexual
that
for
Gunther
33
Dorner had it
years.
right. I believe that Gunther Dorner had it right. He says that
Who?
Gunther Dorner, Professor Gunther Dorner, he works at the Institute of Endocrine Studies in Berlin. Now, he says that up to 6 weeks, all babies are essentially female. At 6 weeks, a Y chromosome will kick in for a boy, an X chromosome for a girl. And for a boy, it's an extra stage to masculinize the brain, and that's what the chromosome does. That's what the genes do. They kick in, masculinize the brain.
This just really emphasises there's a lot of controversy in the actual causes of transsexualism. I mean, the patients that I see have very similar stories. They really think and believe that they're girls emotionally in terms of their personality from an early age, and they really want to have help in order to realise their true selves. And I think that's the important thing. It doesn't really matter about the causes.
I agree,
Terry,
with
hold on,
I
go on.
agree with you wholeheartedly. But the thing is, they don't actually get the help. They don't get the legal help. They don't even get the medical help
That's a
unless they've
different
got the
issue.
money.
That's a different issue. Terry?
I think that a male to female transsexual like myself is male. I do not think that a so-called sex change operation, which properly speaking doesn't happen, does in fact change my sex from male to female. I think that
Hang on, Terry.
transsexuals...
You're getting me really confused. You've changed from a man to a woman by an
No, I
operation.
haven't.
No, by an operation. But
I
you're
wish I
saying...
had.
What do you mean you've had the operation?
I've had the operation.
Right,
I don't think it changes my sex.
Ah,
I
so
wish
you-
that it had
so you-
done, but I
so-
must be honest.
So you're saying inside yourself you're still why? Why?
I am saying that I am, unfortunately and tragically for me, still male. I have a deep desire to be female, but no...
And you've had medical operations and all that to make you female, but in spite
and
of
other
all
medical
that...
treatment,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
But
still.
I have reluctantly come to the conclusion that surgery was a mistake I had to make.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
nonetheless, in the sense of sex change, it was a mistake. I think that we male to female transsexuals are distinguished by an overriding hatred for our maleness.
Right,
And that...
Nobody changes their sex, only their gender.
Yes, precisely. And a woman is a
you wouldn't be
woman
asking to
by
change her sex,
virtue
would
of
you?
what happens to her in the first 7 years of her life and by virtue of her reproductive ability. Now, I believe that all
one at a time,
men
please. Come on.
have a deep and sincere jealousy of women, that the majority of men find male advantages override that jealousy. The fact they have penises and use them for various purposes is more important than
All
their
us
jealousy.
men are jealous of women?
Yes, I believe so.
God, I didn't know that. We're going to have to talk about that sometime. I'm going to have
think
to find
about
out.
it.
Rita, what do you think?
Well, I agree with you, because I feel that just because you alter your physical state, it won't alter your mental state. It's a psychological thing, and I feel you are what you are. If you're male, you're male. You're female, you're female. Why should you emulate the role of God and change what you
Natasha,
originally
Natasha,
are.
I don't want to bring God into it.
Yeah, you're saying...
Natasha.
Hi. Yeah, you're saying, you know, if you change your sex, you still remain male. It's like this lady, you're saying you still remain male in your mind.
And tragically,
Why well, tragically maybe, but why did you change your sex then? Why didn't you stay as a male?
No one could have convinced me when I was seeking surgery that I was making a mistake. I would have obtained surgery.
For this surgery?
No, I would have. I would have sought surgery. I would have had the other forms of medical treatment, which you and I know about.
Right.
In the mistaken belief that it was possible for me to change sex.
Are you a woman?
The conclusion,
Yeah, I've had full
that I have come to is like losing a fantasy. I was very reluctant to lose it, but I'm afraid I had
Well, let me say something. Fantasies are meant to really be kept as fantasies, but to fantasize to be a woman is one thing, and to feel I'm sure everybody's going to agree in my situation. To feel excuse me a second. Excuse me 1 second, please. Can you let me continue? In your mind, okay? You are male or female. Now, I feel totally female in my mind. Doesn't matter how I look.
Natasha, let's get...
Natasha, do you know my past? Excuse me, young man.
Please.
You'd love to jump in here. Excuse me, young man. Okay, my past.
Natasha,
would you?
In order
given half a chance, you probably would.
Natasha, listen to me.
Yes, you would. If you didn't
Manja,
know.
behave yourself. In order to...
Sorry, Manja.
For us to understand what we're talking about, we need to know a little bit. You were born as a...
I was born a boy, yeah.
A boy, right.
That's right.
And you had a sex operation, you've changed.
I did at the age of 21.
And you're a woman, you feel a woman.
Yes, I mean, when I grew up, you know, I can't, when I'm the age of 12, 13,
How old are you now?
26.
But you haven't got much behind you 21 years.
I beg your pardon?
You haven't got much behind you 21 years.
But I got enough behind me to know what I wanted to
This
do
is
in
the
my
age that
later
everybody
life.
should have their
What age did you have the
change.
operation?
At 21, because I think 21's a legal age to start off with.
What length did you go to get this operation? I mean, was it very important to you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, at the age of like 12, I thought, you know, this is wrong. I don't feel like a boy mentally. Physically, gender-wise, I was a boy. I never grew body hair. But then I thought, well, to get through my young teenage years, my tender years, I would be a tomboy. So most people mistaken me for a girl, just being a little tomboy. Unfortunately, I went to an all-male school, which was my parents that put me in an all-male school. Okay, for the first 2 days, I had to fight my way through. I got through. But, you know, the guys used to whistle at me in the corridor.
Once you decided you wanted the operation, and once you decided you wanted to change, I mean, how determined are you? What lengths does one go
I'm a very determined young lady.
What did you do?
She's nodding her head, this young lady here.
What did you do?
I actually met some friends, like Vanessa said. I went on the gay scene because that was the only place that I feel I could dress as a woman without, you know, if somebody realised if I'm in a straight club, most of my life is straight now, okay, but I've got nothing against gay or straight places. Did you pay for the operation? I did. Well, actually, a very close friend lent me £3,000, and I gave up my home and all my furniture to have it done. It was that important, but I paid that money back. I still had to pay the money back to her.
How important is it once you know you feel this, you're in the wrong body, how important is it, what lengths will you go to change?
Well, you go to any lengths. Any lengths.
What are you doing?
What am I doing?
Yeah, what lengths? Or
well, I've only been doing this for about a year, or been in this situation for about a year.
What's your situation?
I'm pre-op, obviously. I've been on hormone treatment for about 18 months.
How you were born as a boy?
Yeah.
And how old are you now?
33.
33. And why does it? I mean, the question's in my mind, so I might as well ask you. Why is it taking so long?
Right. I was in the same situation as
Natasha.
Natasha. I went to an all-boys school, and most of my life I've been trying to portray a macho image.
Because that's what's expected of you, yeah.
With everybody else. I got married as well, and I'm separated now, and that's being sorted out. But these are all things that you do because.
But you felt it was wrong at the time.
Sorry?
You felt it was wrong at the time.
Yeah,
you didn't feel comfortable.
Yeah,
it must be awful to actually be doing that, to be made. I mean, I boxed and swam and played football, all the macho things, because you were expected to do it.
Exactly.
There's peer pressure, but I enjoyed it. It must be awful to actually be doing those things.
You might enjoy
and
some
not,
of it.
And not right.
You might enjoy some of the things you do, but on the whole, you know that you're only doing things to please other people. It's not really yourself.
Rita?
Well, I think that's very weak-willed if you do things in life just to please other people.
Weak-willed?
Yes.
You should try
I really feel that it's been very weak-willed.
Hang on. What do you... Hold on. What do you... Rita, turn round this way. You talk to Rita.
It's very weak-willed, she says, and she spoke of God. I'm a Christian, and she speaks of God. Now, I spoke to my canon on that subject, and he's quite happy with what I am. And this business of chromosomes, when I first went to seek help, it was to stop me feeling the way I was. I had a chromosome count, and they come out and said to me as I was dressed as a man, "Madam, you're wasting your time. We suggest you go to Charing Cross and get advice." So, don't talk to me about God, because God made me, he made you.
I'm saying it's weak-willed.
Can I say something? There might there might genuinely be 1 or 2 cases maybe per year, but I don't believe on the scale that it's come in today. And I think also the government and the medical field should also limit the amount of operations they're doing.
Sorry, can I say, I'm post-op transsexual. I think you have to actually go through with it. I mean, how can you put yourself in someone else's shoes? Robert is a male. He enjoyed male things. How could he ever really understand me? And also,
I'm a female.
No, please let me get a
time, girls. Come on.
Sorry, can I say
this lady? No, you're doing a thesis on it.
Yeah.
This lady and that lady. And I understand what you said.
You're talking about Terry now.
Yeah, but obviously it was wrong for you. But you must not class other transsexuals the same.
I can't speak for transsexuals.
She's speaking just for herself.
Sorry,
and you're an authority on yourself, aren't you?
The thing I'm trying to say, and the way Vanessa says she felt, is that we're not men changing our sex. I mean, the penis and that, the operation, it is the ultimate thing you go through.
Well, what are you
but as far as I'm concerned, I was a woman. I had a female brain, and I was made to do masculine things, and I had a penis.
If
any woman wakes up with a penis... Yeah, but you must understand that there was nothing wrong with me as a male. Physically, I was totally normal. I was good looking as a male. I had no problems at all. Why would I want to cause all these problems with my family, get the money, everything to go through with this operation? And the operation, I can assure you,
what do you mean
you
by
don't
normal?
even function.
What is your classification of
my
normal?
normal? I was a female and I had a penis. I mean, it's ridiculous. How can I be normal?
So, how do we decide then who should be operated, who gets the operation? How do you decide whether it is a female but it happens to be in a male body?
It's a long and complicated process that transsexuals have to go through to prove to people like me and the psychiatrist that they are suitable and stable for surgery. But the things that I am looking for is to ensure that somebody has lived and worked properly in their chosen gender role for a minimum of 12 months, to ensure that this is something they've always felt. I see clients...
How do you do that?
I see clients as young as... I've got a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old on my books at the moment, and they are saying in no uncertain terms that they feel wrong, that the bodies they've got are not the right ones for them. I've lived with somebody who's gone through this process too, so I've got a very personal experience of it, and I've seen what my partner went through to enable her to get her surgery. And the trauma that went through her life and the trauma that goes through the lives of the clients that I see leaves me in no doubt that helping these people is something that is really, really important. The National Health Service doesn't do very much. As somebody commented, 2/3 of operations in this country are done privately. These people have got to pay somewhere like £5-6 grand plus to get the operations that they need. They're life-saving surgery.
Is it hard to convince people that you need this operation, you need the change?
I think it's too easy.
Too easy?
Yes. I'm a transvestite, not a transsexual.
No.
I run a helpline. 6-7 years ago, I went through a bereavement, and to deal with that grief, I pushed open the doors of the closet. If I'd have gone to an expert at that time and been told that the answer to my problem was I was really a woman, I should have a sex change operation, I'd have probably gone down that road. That would have been an unmitigated...
Please, listen to him.
That would have been an unmitigated disaster for me. Now,
please,
my perception, and running the helpline now, and we're in the Swindon directory under transvestite, I get people ring up who are trying on their wife's underwear and saying, I want to be a woman, where can I get hormones and things like this. This is dreadful. People should receive counselling, and counselling is not about directing them and saying, you are this, you are that. Any counsellor that uses words like ought, must, should, are, is not a counsellor. Counselling is about enabling people.
Come back. Yes.
Yeah, I would entirely agree with what you're saying. It is very, very important that I, as a counsellor, am there to support somebody in whatever direction it's appropriate for them to go through. If gender surgery is something that's appropriate for them, yes, I will support them through that process. If gender surgery is not appropriate for them, I will support them in remaining maybe a happy and well-adjusted transvestite.
But what qualifications have you got as a counsellor?
My qualifications are that I'm a state registered nurse and I'm the only nurse gender counsellor accredited by the UKCC.
Are there cases like Pamela's, for example, sitting next to you where you think it's gone wrong?
Yes, I think that, Pamela was, I think you told Pamela that she was transsexual. A counsellor should not tell anybody that they're anything.
What's that? What happened there?
We had, I was invited down for a holiday because I live in Somerset and Fran lives in Brighton. And one evening we had a long session about this penchant I had for wearing women's clothes, because I was a regular TV at that time.
You were a man. You were born a man.
I was born a man,
boy.
unfortunately, yes, I was born a man.
Right.
And, but I loved to cross-dress. And we had a long session, and at the end of it, someone said to me, "Don't you realise you are a transsexual?" Now that has since been denied, but I was told I was a transsexual, and I'll say that till my dying day.
Did you have the operation?
I've had the operation, I'm very happy. Fran was right, but nevertheless, I was told I was a transsexual.
Yeah. Manjit? Manjit?
Okay.
Well, come on then, don't take all day. I've been wanting to speak for ages, come on.
Oh, I'm surprised I've been let in. I was told I was a transsexual. I was told I was a transsexual. I was told that if I have a sex change, I won't stab any more people again. You know, they made me feel that if I didn't have a sex change, I might not get out of prison, because I went to prison when I was 16 for stabbing women. Some of them many times, and I didn't know why I was doing this.
Why were you doing it?
Because from the age of 3 onwards, for some reason, I started to feel that I was a woman. Yeah, all of my life until the age of 13, I thought at 13, 16, I thought I was a woman, but I didn't know why I was feeling this. When I was 13, I stabbed my auntie. When I was 16, I stabbed my next door neighbour 100 times. They sent me. No.
But the answer to you, the answer they said was that you have this problem. Your answer would be to become a transsexual. You say now that was wrong advice.
I would have done anything and everything to be a woman. I felt I was a woman. Yeah, I wanted the body, you know, for the mind. Now,
sorry,
right,
okay, go on.
At the end of the day, you know, they told you you were transsexual, okay? No, let me just speak, please. They were telling you you're transsexual. What these counsellors give you, they don't put your hands behind your back and take you to gender reassessment surgery.
Of course they don't.
True.
No,
hold on, let me finish.
Are
you happy now?
No, let me get.
Are you happy? Do you know why you're happy?
If you give
do you know why you're happy now in this audience? You know why? Because you made your own decision not to change your sex.
Yes.
I made my decision.
Are you happy? At
that point, Russell.
I think this exemplifies it's so important that a person is properly assessed, because there are lots of different reasons why men cross-dress. The transsexuals have got gender dysphoria, which is a powerful and preoccupying obsession which is with them all the time. But there are other men who cross-dress occasionally because they're transvestite, and there are other drag queens, gay boys who cross-dress from time to parody women. So I think the psychiatric assessment is very important.
Are you happy? As a result of all this, whatever the reasons, you've had the consultations, you've been counselled, you've had the operation. Very
yes,
happy.
It worked perfectly for me. But what I'm
What's
saying,
sex like?
Average.
Most people would say, well, go on, what did you
it's
say?
It's not important what
not
the sex
important.
is like.
Why?
It's because I think the thing that we're missing here is what it actually feels like to be a transsexual. And if you can understand that...
Tell me.
Right, okay. I'm assuming that you're happy as a man.
Yeah.
Okay, you go to bed tonight, you retain all your own hopes, dreams, aspirations, feelings of who you are, but in the morning you wake up, you have the body of a woman. You've now got to walk, talk, work, relate to other women as a woman, relate to men as a woman, have men relate to you as a woman. I think that having retained your own mind and your own hopes for what you should have done as a man, continuing your life as a woman physically, I don't think it'd be very long before you'd be going to a surgeon and saying, look, this isn't my body. When I look in the mirror, this isn't Kilroy Silk. This is not me. Put it right. So sex is important.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an actress. Now, for 20-odd years, I was an actor. And I know that I ran away to the stage because I couldn't cope with what I knew I was. But the principal thing I found out about being an actor was that I could characterize men, but I couldn't put the flesh on the bones. I couldn't make a fully rounded character. I now work as an actress. That problem has gone. I don't have that problem anymore.
Cured her gender dysphoria.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have that problem anymore. And, you know, I've just finished, say, working in the West End. I've just done a showcase in the West End.
Caroline, how does your family react? How does family treat you? Is that part of the problem too? It's not just all your own emotional, psychological, physical problems that you have to deal with. You also have to deal with the way other people treat you, how your family respond to you.
Such a radical change in an individual that demands parallel changes in responses to people around you. So as transsexuals or any other sexual minority, you've got to be aware of other people's feelings and give them a chance to become accustomed to it, but at the same time not to give in too much where you lose your own personality. I had tremendous trouble with my family at first, you know, to the extent that one brother, double-barrel shotgun, you know, get out of Ireland, and if you put foot in here again, we'll blow the hell out of you, you know.
What did he say? Did he mean it?
Oh yes, he meant it. Another brother, you know, sort of hellfire, brimstone, an abomination, you'll burn in hell. I mean, mother, holy Jesus, where are we going now? This sort of thing. My father died as a man. He tore the cloth in true Jewish fashion, you know, which was interesting because he was Protestant. And there was Catholic background as well. I was head of the Junior Orange Order, which was supposed to be a Christian organisation. It's more like the mafia. I then studied the priesthood and other religions, and you know, everybody has their own God.
But all these brothers of yours who were going to shoot you and all the rest of them, thought you were an abomination in the sight of God, did
one
they
of them wants to sleep with me now.
What?
One of them wants to sleep with me now.
Yeah,
there's a lot of weird people around, I tell you.
Are you serious?
Yes, I am very serious.
Well, he doesn't see you as his brother anymore?
No, he sees me as his sister and treats me as such.
He wants to sleep with you?
Yeah. Strangely enough, it took his second wife to
Mind you've got very
educate
good ankles. I did notice that.
The legs.
How do that again then? Because our camera's not too much. We're all, you know, we're very discreet. But did he say extraordinary? I didn't know men had legs like that.
Men don't.
Robert, I'm being serious. I know what you're saying. So how come?
How come? Simply, now, first of all, it all boils down to ignorance in education. I'd like to say, first of all, thanks to Russell Reid, because he's counselled and helped tremendous a lot of people. I'm rather disappointed that he's still 99% Freudian gobbledygook and only puts 1%
well, I'm on his side anyway.
Yes, I know, but I'll talk to you in a minute.
Let me go. How do the Catherine, how did the family react?
My mother, sister, aunts, uncles didn't want to know me. My mother died last year and I was banned from her funeral. My partner, my 3 children.
Anne is your partner, your wife, sitting next to you.
Totally supportive.
Really?
And have been
At what stage did you realise you wanted to change from being a man, a husband and a father, if you like? At what stage?
I always knew there was something. People always said there was something fishy about me.
Sorry.
I went through school getting beaten up. If environment could change anything, I'd be the tough guy.
And how long had you been married?
10 years.
Did you never suspect, Anne?
Well, all the time we were married, I thought there's something wrong there. She kept getting depressed and all sorts of things. I've known so long now, for 10 years now. What it was, she was getting so depressed, and I kept saying what's wrong, and she didn't tell me, and I knew there was something really deep there. In the end, she told me, she just said, I need thousands of pounds to go to Casablanca, which we didn't have.
And how did you react?
Well, I was a bit surprised at first, but then I realised when I looked at her, she's got better legs than me and everything else.
but she was the father of your children?
Oh, yeah.
You've got how many?
But in a way, I was like a surrogate mother, because you say...
How did the children react?
Oh, they were fine about it once we explained that you're born a transsexual and you can't help it.
The reaction was fine. Can I go out and play
Fine.
now?
They just wanted to know what's for dinner next day.
You two have been married for a long time.
Yeah.
23 years.
And you're still married.
Yeah.
And you still live together
Yeah.
in the same house.
Yeah.
Really good
Do you sleep?
friends.
Do you sleep together?
Yes.
Yes. It's a platonic relationship. As though I'm sleeping with my sister, you know. You sort of just
And
give
the
a
only
kiss
one
and
of my
cuddle.
marriage vows that I can't keep going is the one about making more children. But we've had our children. We wouldn't have had any more anyway.
Why are you still together?
No reason
Why aren't you
not.
with a man?
No reason not.
Why aren't you with a man?
Marriage is for life.
Not all women.
You still love each other. And you still and the children.
That to me, marriage is
What
for
do
my
the
life.
what do your daughters call you?
Cassie.
Wasn't it
And you go on, Georgina.
We had a little game one
No.
day. We changed all our names. Right. I had a male's name. She had a girl's name, and we all changed names. And then Kathy stuck, and this is the way we did it. And then the children didn't even bat an eyelid. They just kept calling her Kathy instead of
very
Abby.
important point.
Is it a problem getting your family to adjust to it?
Well, my family were wonderful. Although, as I'm sure people will agree here, when you make this decision, you haven't taken it lightly. It's something that's taken years and years. And for them to say, yes, they'll support you, is wonderful. You know, you wonder how far you would have gone. Myself, I was prepared to lose every member of my family and all my friends and relations to do this. And the fact that, thank God, I haven't, some of them, are sort of a little bit sceptical, but the majority, mainly my mum and dad, have been absolutely brilliant.
Did you expecting them to be hostile there?
You don't know what to expect. You know, you've never been put in that position before. I must admit, I thought my mum would understand.
Mums always do.
It's your mum,
Yeah.
you know, she brings you up, and that's the way it goes. Mums never abandon you.
Yeah.
But
How did you tell your mum?
I was a coward, I told her over the phone.
What did you say?
Well, through a lot of tears, I told her that the marriage was over. I was married. I do have a daughter. I love them both to death. My ex-wife is now my best friend. And unfortunately, I don't see my daughter, which destroys me, but I never had paternal feelings for my daughter. I was jealous of my wife, to be honest.
Mum?
Help.
Help, Mum.
Help.
Is that how you felt?
I brought her into the world as a boy. I stick by her and I love her, and you know, I'm sorry.
Take care of yourselves. Have a good weekend. See you on Monday.